There probably comes a point in everyone's life where they question what direction they're going in. I'm having one of those moments right now, but I hope you're entertained.
Well, in case the luminous orange packages on my barrow don't give it away, I've done another Temu haul. But you guys seem to absolutely love the first Temu video I made, so before we crack on with this one, I just want to say a massive thank you to every single one of you that watched it, liked, commented, and maybe even subscribed, not just from the UK, but all over the world, which I find incredible. So thank you very much for enjoying that video and helping the channel to grow. And what it did also tell me is that you guys want to see more of that sort of stuff. So as you can see, I hopped on Temu once again, and this time I mixed things up a little bit, not only just by shrinking my budget from £200 down to 120-ish, but I'm not just going fishing for the day, I'm going fishing for the night. So in here is everything that will take me from fishing just the days to fishing the night. So you may be looking at that barrow and think, well, where's the bed chair? Where's your bivvy? Where's this? Where's that? Everything I need to get fishing tonight and comfortably, hopefully, are within these bags. And the venue that I've chosen for this session is the beautiful Bugley Pools in Dorset. You've got 3 lakes you can choose from here. You've got Moorhen down at the bottom, the middle lake is then Mallard Lake, and at the top you've got Kingfisher. All intimate, beautiful and really mature looking lakes. And Kingfisher, where I am for the next 24 hours, or just less than that, I've been waffling to camera for too long, is also home to the complex's biggest residents. So I'm looking forward to see what I can catch. I've fished here once before on this lake and managed to catch one of the big ones at the time, but since then they've grown on leaps and bounds. So I'm looking forward to this one, but as the sun is going to disappear behind that hill in only a couple of hours, I need to get the rods out pretty sharpish before showing you everything I've bought and get myself set up for the night. So let's get the rods out. And relax. The rods are now out, and first and foremost, you'll have to forgive me for the rather bodged makeshift butt rest situation I've got going on here, because I completely slipped my mind that I'm going to be fishing in completely different areas of the lake in this swim and didn't bring enough butt rests and bank sticks and everything to serve each rod. So upside down on hook and mats it is, and it's doing the job so far, and fingers crossed one of those rattles off between now and me leaving tomorrow. But as you've all clicked this because of the title's all about Temu and what have I bought for £120, let's dive into it all. Now first and foremost, you'll see I've got a water container sat next to me, and no, it's not just there for the sake of it. This was one of the purchases from Temu, but for me to bring my water here, I had to get it out of the packaging. So forgive me, I've already unboxed one of the items, but this I believe was around the £9 mark for a heavy duty, solid built, I think 10 litre water container this one is. It's got a valve in the top, so when I use the tap down here, it streams out nicely. I can fill up my mug pretty much hands-free. So if you sit this container on top of a bucket or a bivvy table, if you take one like that for a longer session, that's really handy. So you have to get your water out there, job's a good one. On to the next. Now we'll start with a smaller package and work our way up. I genuinely, once again, can't remember all the items I bought. Obviously I knew which bag this one was in, it was pretty obvious which one it was, but the rest of them I haven't opened. This is full of some slightly smaller items. So the first of which was, well, it says be careful, battery included, and this is a power bank. So the first thing you're going to need, well, not the first thing you're going to need, but everyone that goes fishing overnight takes electronic devices with them usually. It's always good to have your phone on you for fishing, for safety purposes, not entertainment. Surely you should all be watching the water the whole time. But if you're watching Netflix now, you're going to drain your phone, and also if you have any issues, you need to be able to call someone. So having a phone that's charged up is pretty important, and this is a little USB rechargeable, also solar panel on there. So as I've taken it out, a little green light has already come on, which I did see there. So that's charging up right now in my hand, and this will charge up your phone. It's got a little light on one side, pretty sturdily built. I've got a little, is it a carabiner clip, I think these are called? You can attach it to anything you like, hang that up in your bivvy or whatnot. Rechargeable at the bottom, I think it's USBs out and a USB-C. So job's good, and it comes with a charger lead as well, which is a USB to USB-C. So you could probably use that as a USB out to charge your phone, which actually, let's try that here and now. I'll plug it into the bottom one, like so, get my phone. And there we go, we're charging. So yeah, the charger lead it comes with can also be used as your phone lead if your phone uses a USB-C. So right now that's charging off the sun straight into my phone. Really handy little item. And this comes in at the point of filming at £20.48. It's worth noting it's got a torch on one side as well, a compass on the back with a spirit level. I'm not sure why you use that, and it's also an 8,000 milliamp battery capacity. So perfect for charging your phone a couple of times on the bank, and in sunny weather like this, it's charging itself. So really handy little item to have to keep you from having your devices run out of power. Next up we have, oh, another charger. Now this one, I remember now why I bought two different ones. In case you don't like slightly bulky power packs like that you have to carry around separate to your phone, this one is one that plugs directly into the bottom of your phone. And I believe it charges maybe a couple of times. Let me check. What battery capacity does it say it has? 5,000 milliamps. So this is 5,000 milliamp. That is 8,000 milliamp. Yes, that has a few other extra features, but this one, rechargeable with the lead it comes with, that lead comes out. And then if I take that little cap off, there's a USB-C there. I think you're pretty sure you can get ones that fit iPhones as well. I'll plug that into the bottom of my phone, and there we are. It's now charging, and I can carry that around, still use my phone without having a lead coming out of it. It's a little bit cumbersome on the bottom, but I think it's a lot easier to still use your phone, watch things, and just leave your phone mobile without having a lead coming out of it. And this, at the point of filming, is just £5.39. So a tiny little charger like that, which will charge your phone probably once or twice, absolutely ideal. And lastly in this box is, I'm guessing this is all the battery operated things that I bought, is a LED head torch. Now this, I remember, was something like £3.50. So really, really cheap. It feels pretty lightweight, but it comes with a elasticated strap to add onto it, and a charging lead, which is a USB to micro USB, like some of the older phone charger type things. And let's see, does it come with any charge? Where's the buttons there? Yes, it does. So we got one pretty bright middle one, press it again, loads of them come on. Again, all of them come on. And then lastly, you got a flashing one, bit of an SOS. Maybe if you're a cyclist and you like to blind oncoming drivers, that's the sort of thing that they like to do sometimes. There's a little flashing function on there. So it does come with a strap which I need to attach to it. Now I need to do this probably now before it gets dark, because I will be using this later on, so bear with me. There we go, that's now attached on there, and as you can see actually it's got a tilt function, so if you want you can attach that to your head and flip it round so you can directly blind yourself straight in the eyeballs. Obviously it's not for that if you're tying up rigs in the middle of the night, or usually when I've got a head torch on I like to put it over a cap because I find that easier to, he says, put on in the middle of the night when you got to take. You can just slip your cap on, which has a head torch already on, like so. So there we go, take that off, that's ready to go tonight. So if I have a fish, put the cap on rather than fumbling with the elasticated strap, and there we go, everywhere I look, it's on. But if you didn't have the cap on, you could tilt that down, and when you're tying rigs, be able to see what you're doing a lot easier. So there we go, you can get a head torch. There were a lot smaller ones than that on here, on Temu, sorry, but as I said, this one had a lot of LEDs, it looked pretty cool. Very bright. We'll have to see what this looks like tonight. And at £3.50, I think maximum, I think this was, you really cannot go wrong. Even if it did go wrong, it hasn't broken the bank. But that's a pretty good buy if you ask me. We'll put that down there and move on to the next. Which rod was that? I just had a little liner. Can't see because I looked at the head torch. So that is bag number one down. On to the next. We'll leave the biggest one till last. It's always nice to leave the big one till last. This one feels like it's only got a couple of items in. So let's see what's in here. Remember, we've still got my accommodation and what I'm going to sleep on to come in all of this. And this, I'm assuming, is what I'm going to be sleeping in. So, we'll put that down. There's one other item in there, so let's unpack this, because I'm pretty sure this is going to be my bivvy for the night. Now, I was looking on Temu, I couldn't really find a dedicated bivvy that looked like a bivvy. There was lots of different options. Ugh, it's well packaged, I'll get on that. So I had to opt for something that was at least carpy green. And looking at this, the bag is camo, so that's a start. And we'll have to see how this actually goes up in a second. I will do the rest of them first, so we'll get onto the tent after this whole unboxing. But it's lightweight, it's very, very small. So it'll be interesting to see if in a pinch, this will get you fishing. Rather than being under the rain, you can be under wraps instead. So that is going to be my house for the night. We'll move on to that later on. Also in this bag was one other box by the looks of things. And we'll pop that bag to the side. And this is, oh, I haven't got my knife on me. Bear with. There we go. And this is, my cooker. Well, not my cooker, my cooking utensil. So this is a saucepan. So I only got the one option. I could have got a kettle and all sorts of different things, but I thought if you need something to cook in, as well as make a cup of tea, you can't cook in a kettle, but you can boil water in a saucepan. So if you need to just get one item where I can cook my tea later on, but also want to make a few brews, it may not look very carpy, but you've got a very usable, fold down, pretty small item. You can put items in there, so if you did buy a kettle and things, it probably fit inside. And I believe you could get these as like a multi-set as well, so you get multiple items in there as well. But for just one item, that's pretty much all you're gonna need. Now, we're on to the very last package. Now in here should be what I'm gonna sleep on and sleep in to keep me warm, I hope. Because if not, I'm sleeping under the stars tonight. Now, it's a good job it's nice weather, but it has been getting down pretty cold lately. We actually had the first frost, another little liner on the left-hand rod. We actually had the first frost of the year in September. For those of you that are watching abroad, we haven't had much for summer in the UK. We never tend to, but it was very cold last week, which is colder than normal for this time of year. Now this is gonna be my sleeping bag. So let's have a look at this. I'm not sure what the, so I shouldn't keep opening things right next to the mic, it's gonna be really loud for you. I'm not sure how warm this is gonna be. It's army green, so that's a plus, but it's gonna be a bit pointless when you see what I've got to sleep on in a second. How warm do you think this is gonna be? And what's the likelihood I'm gonna get back in that bag? It was that tight to start with. Not very likely. So, I mean, it looks pretty narrow. Am I gonna fit in that? Yeah, we're golden. We're fine. So this is a 4 eyes bird, and it's army green, but we'll call it carpet green for the sake of this video. It has got a little elasticated loop, which I'm not sure what that's for. It's got little toggles, so I wonder if you could actually toggle this to a bed chair. Who knows? But that's what I'm going to be sleeping in tonight. Hopefully I don't get down too cold, but it does feel all right. Hopefully I'll stay nice and warm in that. Now in here, I think, is it the last item? Oh, no, there's a couple more. I'm going to keep you waiting to see what I'm going to be sleeping on. Now this one, oh, I've actually got a few items in there. This one was more of a carp care item, which I don't actually need here because everything's supplied, mats, nets, slings and everything. But this is a little collapsible water bucket. So perfect if you just need to get a bit of lake water when you're dealing with your fish. Keep them topped up with water. It folds down. This is a travel recover outdoor gear. So it was labelled as being something you can use in camping, but for us fishermen, it's great to get a bit of water out the margin and keep keep your fish nice and hydrated on the bank when you're getting your photos and your catch shots. So ideal little collapsible bucket. And once again, looking at the point of filming, you can pick these up for I think £4.48. Cheap as chips. A couple more items in here. Now, as you've seen, I've got my cooking utensil to actually make my tea later on, but I need a little stove. I couldn't get camping gas on Temu, that's understandable. Now this is a tiny little camping stove, which I hope fits on the gas canister I've brought, otherwise I will be going hungry tonight. Now this is tiny little pack down. It's one of those which screws onto the top of your gas canister. So, how are we looking? It's separate, so I've got to screw it together, but I'm guessing that goes in there, like so. And it's actually solid built, solid metal. Tighten that up, that's all good. And it's got fold out arms, so it actually folds out really big. And then I'd screw my gas can into the bottom of that. So that is pretty big. That's pretty good actually, because some stoves you can get which are a bit too small and your things topple off. But that is actually wider than my saucepan. So as long as my actual gas canister is stable, that should be pretty good at holding everything down. Happy days, I'm happy with that. Obviously we haven't lit it yet, and it's got a little adjustable valve there, so you can turn it up and down. Cheap as chips again. I think this was just a few items left to go. Now forgive the continuity error, the camera died midway through doing that, but I've only got a few items left to go. So some of these are already unboxed, but we'll go through them again anyway. And first up is a cutlery set to go with everything else I've got for cooking. This is a 4-in-1 set. So you've got a little sheath that holds it all together, which doubles up as a bottle opener and maybe a can opener. And then you've got a knife, fork and spoon, and all of this is stainless steel, so it should last a very long time. It feels nice and solid, nice that it holds it all together in this little sheath. And this came in, I think, was £4.98, so really not expensive, once again, for something that's dead handy to keep in your fishing bag, and all you need for eating, drinking and everything like that. Next up, again, unboxed unfortunately, but this is a multi-tool. Once again, I think this was less than a £5. Ideal to have in your fishing bag because you never know when you're going to need to tighten something up or get into something like change the batteries on a bite alarm that needs a little screw thread. Don't have it on you, absolute nightmare. So something like this, never know where you're going to need it. Tightening up a chair leg, bed chair, something like that. It's got loads of different items on this. You've got 2 lots of sort of bolt adjustments. So you've got a 10mm, a 14GJ, whatever that is, another 10mm this side, 15mm, a 14.8E and an 8mm. Some of these might be American stuff and I don't understand all that because we use centimeters and millimeters. You guys use like quarters and 800ths of an inch and stuff like that. Doesn't make sense. Millimeters is much better. Anyway, getting beyond the point there. You've also got a flathead screwdriver, a Phillips screwdriver, and I think you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 different Allen key adjustments. These are ideal for, well, a lot of things in fishing use Allen keys. I'm sure if I look at this, yep, this one right here is, it's going to prove me wrong now. There we go. That Allen key fits this chair. So if I need to tighten up these legs for whatever reason, I've now got a tool that does it. So really handy to have in. And as I said, I think this is around the £4 something mark. So it doesn't break the bank, and it could get you out of trouble when you need a little tool that you don't normally carry with you. Now last but no means least, you may be thinking, hang on, you said you were going to be sleeping on something, and that is what's in here. Again, apologies, it's already unpacked, but you should still get the same reaction. Ta-da! This is going to be my bed for the night. And the reason for that is because I was trying to keep this on a budget. Yes, they did have kind of bed chair looking things on Temu, but they weren't quite the same as what we do use in the fishing world. They didn't really have adjustable feet. They were perfect as like a spare bed in your house type thing. So they still fold out in the same way, but I thought that was too luxury and too safe. So I thought I'd go for something a bit more entertaining, shall we say. And when my wife saw this, when there were other colours, but she saw the floral one and said you have to get that. So this is my wife's pick for the actual look of it. But how this works, if you've never seen them before, they are mainly used at festivals because they're dead lightweight to carry around, and you inflate 2 tubes full of air by just catching the air, running down the bank. I'm going to have to do this to inflate. I've never inflated a bed before by running down the bank, normally quite quiet. But that is how you do it. You then pinch it, roll it down and clamp it down this end. So you have a bed made of air, which may not be the warmest tonight if it gets down cold, but hey, I've made my bed, I'm gonna lay in it. This isn't faked. I haven't got anything else in my car to sleep on. There's no bed chair, there's no dedicated bivvy. Everything you see me just unbox and unpack here is what I'm gonna be using on this session. So I may wake up tomorrow morning, well, even if I manage to get to sleep, with regret, but hey ho, we do these things for YouTube. Hopefully you guys find it entertaining. I do these things so maybe you don't have to, but if you really were strapped for cash and you still need something to sleep on that didn't weigh a lot, this could genuinely be an option. And it doubles up as a sofa, so in the day it may be comfortable to sit on as well. We'll see. But now you've got to see me set up the bivvy / tent, see what that looks like, and then set this up. Thankfully, I'm the only one on the lake, so no one's going to watch me running around with a floral inflatable camping sofa to sleep on. But hey ho, all of YouTube's going to see it. Aren't you lucky? So that is my Temu haul to get me night fishing. Right, let's get the house up, bed sorted, and have some food. And the finishing touch. Ta-da! Now, full disclaimer, I did speak to the owner before filming this video here because it does say in the rules tents aren't allowed. He gave me full permission to do this for the sake of this video, but I think he'll agree when he comes round. This is a bivvy. Look at the camo. And access is not the best, not gonna lie. I'm just over 6 foot. It's low profile, let's put it that way. It's carpy, if you like being hunkered down. I mean, it's pretty close basically to a Tempest, isn't it? Not quite as quick to go up, but yes. But I'm now a little concerned about how well my bed's going to fit in here. Talking of the bed, I got to inflate it. It's one inflated. Oh yes, that is a bed. Well, say what you like about it, it is lightweight. There we are, it does fit. Next thing to do is see if I fit with it. This could be interesting. And as it's quite small in there, I'm going to take you with me on the action cam. Ooh. One sec, let me put you down. This is going to be even more interesting with a sleeping bag later. That sleeping bag may be more of a duvet than something I get in. what? There we go, slid right. That's what I want. Whoop. Right. It's interesting. I think I've got more air in one side than the other, but once you balance, I guess it's similar to. No, that's just sliding in one side. Right. I'm in. Am I going to sleep like this? Potentially. It's not terrible. It could be worse. My foot is out the door. So the next thing to try is, can I fit in here sideways like a traditional bed chair? Let's try it. Oh, yeah, we're in. Tell you what, living the life of luxury here. I guess it's close to a waterbed. Is there medical reasons why you can't have your legs higher than your head when you're sleeping? But I genuinely think I could sleep like this. It's pretty warm at the moment. I mean, the legs are like that. Could lift them. That's my view. Not bad. I think the sleeping bag is going to end up being a cover. There is no chance of me getting into this with a sleeping bag on, or in a sleeping bag. But you're watching at home thinking, I'd love to see that. So let's give it a try. Okay. So, shoes off, of course. You don't get in a sleeping bag with your shoes on, do you? Getting to the bed is a bit more difficult, but not impossible. We're in, and we're in the sleeping bag. Let's get a bit more comfy. I mean, I think I have just ripped the tent. That's not ideal, but can I get the tent, the camera? Oh. I am in a sleeping bag, in my makeshift bed chair. That's comfy enough. I do think I will manage to get some sleep later, but I am a little bit annoyed that I just ripped the tent because I got caught on it. That's not ideal. We can fix it, I'm sure. I've got my multi-tool. Next up, if I got to run in the night and I'm in this position, how quickly could I get to a fish? Because if it's too slow, I won't be sleeping in this. And I get a run. I could crawl to a rod. That's not ideal. There are better situations to be in. So I won't be sleeping in it, I'll be sleeping with it on top of me. Okay, we'll deal with the sleeping situation when it comes to going to bed. For now, I need a cup of tea, coffee, actually I have a coffee, and some grub. And I'm pretty sure that will be plain sailing. Kind of forgetting I am actually still fishing. Well, the stove works a treat. Hopefully I can pour it all right. Make a nice coffee, of which I can. So there we go. As I said, you don't need a kettle if you need to make brews, but I can still cook in that without the need of separate items. And today on the menu is tinned chicken jalfrezi, which is mild, apparently, even though it's got 3 chilies on it, and pilau rice. Nice and simple. I ran out of daylight. The sun set a while ago. The mozzies are out in force, hence the hoodie's back on. My shelter and bed situation is sorted. So that's stove on. I need a fork. Well, actually, we use a spoon to stir this around. That's going to be easiest to eat it. Put those I'm not using back in their sheath. And we're golden. So most of the things I've bought, well, everything I bought is doing what it needs to. Whether you will enjoy sleeping in a tent like this, I will let you know tomorrow morning, because I'm sure you're all going to be itching to know how I slept, if I do at all. A little bit of water in there. There we are. Look, I'm using everything right now. Job's a good one. Stir that round. And lid on. and we're sorted. Just need a rod to go off now. I keep forgetting I'm actually fishing. I've been doing all this, which is, I know, rather silly. Hopefully you're finding it entertaining. I'm dubious about my night's sleep. Hopefully I'll be that tired from Lily keeping us up lately because she's been a bit ill that I'll still sleep well, but we will see. I'm going to enjoy some food and try to retire for the night. I'll see you in the morning, unless something happens, of course.
Well, time to retire for the evening. It's about 10 o'clock and I've got everything set up for me for the night, but let's just top up my mug for the night. I've already had a wee, so I'm fine listening to this. Hope you had too. Feel free to pause the video and go for a wee if that set you off. Mainly for my older viewers there. And the shelter is all set up, so I'll pop my drink in there. There we go. Got my little table station. I've got my camera bag, laptop and everything there. And this looks like a good bed chair now, because I've got the sleeping bag over the top. Obviously, that's still the bed. So, time to get in. There isn't much in the way of headroom, but you sink into this thing. So, yeah, wish me luck getting in. But I'm quite impressed with this head torch, I've got to say, considering how cheap it was. Look how many lights there are on it. It's pretty darn bright. But I do think it's dimming down already actually, so I'm going to put it on charge. I didn't actually charge it before I came, this is just what was in it. So put it on charge and hopefully we'll need it in the night. Well, there we go, I'm using the light from the power bank, which is actually pretty bright, so I'm going to pop that there. Grab my sleeping bag over me. And to be fair, that is actually quite comfy. So, without further ado, I'm going to try and get some sleep. See you in the morning. Well, it's just gone 1 AM and the first fish of the night. Actually had this one probably about 20 minutes ago. The rod's now back out and all of this is being lit by that head torch. Yes, I've cranked the ISO a little bit on the camera for those of you that want to know about how a camera exposes light, but the only source of light is from the head torch and a very full moon behind me. I actually landed this fish without any kind of source of light other than the moon because it's bright enough. But for you to see this on the camera, there we go, £3.50 for a head torch or however much it was around that mark. It's doing the job. Lovely, let's get the fish back, see if we can get a few more. I haven't slept yet either because I've been getting beeps on the alarms and I've had a fish, but I've now discovered a more comfortable way of lying in that bed, and it includes putting my feet up on a bucket so that my feet are elevated rather than down. Well, good morning everyone, and a little recap or overview of my night's sleep. In short, didn't really get much, but a longer version of that and explaining why is I had a fish at about, what, 12:30, 1 in the morning. Once the rod was back out, back into bed, got comfortable, and then it was just I kept getting liners and stuff, there's fish boshing, so that kept me awake. And this isn't the most comfortable, but I did manage to get the best out of it. So as you can see, I'm actually in a fairly horizontal position now. I put my bucket bait in the corner. I'm going corner to corner because this is a smaller bivvy than I thought it was going to be, but I can fit lengthways corner to corner. The bucket keeps my feet elevated, so I'm actually in a pretty horizontal position, and it's overall pretty comfortable. I slept on my back. At home, I predominantly sleep on my side, so you could shimmy around, and it was actually pretty comfortable at that as well. And getting in and out was quite quick because I used the sleeping bag mainly as my as like a duvet rather than being in it. It was fairly warm, I was comfortable enough, and getting to my rod was pretty quick, of which I'll try and demonstrate now. Picture the scene, if you will. It's dark, full moon, so it's just a shadow from the moon. get a bite, you have to crawl out, but I'm out. And now I am up, it's time to make myself a coffee, or two, or three. Well, I may not have slept brilliantly last night, but I'm now topped up with coffee and porridge, so I'm ready to face the day. And unfortunately, the rods need to come in fairly soon, so I'm really thankful I had that bite in the night. Otherwise, I may have been staring at a big fat blank, and no one ever likes those. So to round things off though, I thought I'd quickly go through all the items once more, tell you how I got on with them, because I have used every single item last night. Starting off with the water container, not much more needs to be said about this. It's done exactly what I need it to. That tap was actually really handy, because I had it popped up on one of the posts for the otter fence, and it just made it really easy to keep my water off the ground, away from any bugs or rats and things that could be running around and potentially contaminate the water supply. So having that off the ground, then using the tap, was really easy to access the water and just keep it nice and sterile and safe from everything. Moving on from that, we've then got my saucepan, which I've done several cups of coffee with, and also cooked curry in it last night, which I started to burn onto the pan, but it cleaned up nice and easily, so it's done everything I needed that to. We've got the stove, really impressed with the power of this more than anything. So it's obviously got one valve on it, which allows you to control how much heat this kicks out. But on full whack, even with a fairly empty gas can, this was kicking out quite a lot of heat. And I really like how big the top plate is for putting on your pan. Sometimes they can be that small or smaller, and you're trying to balance a saucepan on. So the fact that it's got this fold out arms, it makes it a really big surface area to put a pan, means it's nice and stable. As long as your gas canister is stable, that shouldn't go anywhere. Stainless steel cutlery set, again, doesn't really need much saying about it. I've only used the spoon. It worked as a spoon needed to. I can see these lasting a very long time, keeping that in my food bag. So I've got spoon, fork, knife, and a bottle opener, of course, so when I need that, all in my bag, ready to go on future sessions. Now moving on to the power banks, something I think everybody needs to keep their devices charged, and these are two fairly small items, of course. And as you can see, I've currently got the 8,000 milliamp power bank charging the 5,000, because the 5,000 died last night. I had it plugged into my phone, and it died when my phone reached probably about 85% battery, but that is with me heavily using it, watching YouTube, Netflix and stuff, and then put my phone down. Eventually it died on 85% on my phone. But let me just remind you, or tell you, that I didn't charge these before I left. These came pre-charged, so I'm not sure exactly how full they were before. So once that's fully charged, 5,000 milliamp battery should be perfectly enough to charge your phone at least once. And then the 8,000 again would do the same. I'm using this right now to charge that up. I can see it's charging from the sun, and also I charged up the head torch last night with this as well, and used the lights, so it's really, really handy. That brings us on to the head torch. Nice and bright. You would have saw some of the tests from last night, but what I did find is it started to dim down, so I don't think the battery capacity is huge on this, so it's something that you'd use sporadically and not leave on all the time. Because it is so bright and so lightweight, I think the batteries are drained pretty quick, so I did have to charge that throughout the night, but rather than just switching off as soon as it got low, it just got dimmer and dimmer, so it did give me an indication it needed a bit of a top up. So plug it into the power pack and we were sorted. Multi-tool, already used this already, so I used this to tighten up the tripod plates on my camera. As I said, some of those hex keys or Allen keys, whatever you call them, from whatever country you're from, I found that it fit on this chair. There's probably loads of other items around my swim that this would work on, so having this in the bag, it's just a no-brainer. For a couple of quid, it could save you in a pinch when you've got something you need fixing. I think that's everything here. We then move on to my accommodation. Now, let's admit it, it is a tent, it's not a bivvy, and it's not really designed for 14 stone, 6'1" blokes like me. This is probably more geared towards your kids. I was climbing in through that window, which is far too small for my size and frame, so I was catching the material. I did accidentally rip one of the pegging points because I was just cumbersome getting in. So I think this is more geared towards a kid. So if someone wants to come fishing, bring your kid along, you don't want to spend a load of money on a separate shelter, or you don't have a two-man or something, it could be ideal for them, or just a bit of fun back at home. I don't think it's really geared towards fishing on the bank, but I've done this test so you don't have to. And then the bed, again, I did sleep. It is pretty comfortable, you just have to make it work for you. Again, because of my height, my legs were sticking off the end from knees down really, so using that bucket to get myself nice and level, it did work, it was comfortable enough, and I did sleep. But do I recommend it? Maybe if you've only got about a tenner to spend on a bed chair, yes, you could do that. Sleeping bag, I was nice and warm last night. I wasn't completely in it, I used it as a duvet, but it did everything I needed a sleeping bag to do. So overall, yes, you can go night fishing on a budget by buying things from Temu.
Will some of it do the job as well as something a lot more expensive? I'll let you be the judge of that, but I've had good fun doing it. I've done this test so you don't have to. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Subscribe to me if you haven't done so already and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any future uploads. Like the video if you did, comment, share it, do everything like that. And also follow me on various social media platforms. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and of course, YouTube. So that's everything from me for now. Let me know if you want to see more stuff like this in the future. I don't think I'll be bringing this one out again anytime soon, but that camping sofa and sleeping bag definitely will be getting used. A lot of these items will be staying in my fishing kit bag. So it's great, budget friendly, and good fun to do. So cheers for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, I changed my mind. I recommend everyone gets one of these. So much room for activities. What am I doing with my life?